Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me here in person as well as virtually. In this session, you'll learn more about building apps, developing apps, interoperating apps, integrating apps with Microsoft Fabric. I will also be joined by 5 esteemed guests, and you'll hear firsthand from them about our journeys together in collaborating and bringing seamless experiences with Fabric to all of you, technologists, developers, and more. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about and remind folks of how expansive our offerings, our products, and services are. Last year, we announced Microsoft Intelligent Data Platform, MIDP for short, and it encompasses databases, analytics, governance, and more. And since then, we have added a lot more. There's a ton of work that we've done. AI joined as a pillar as well, with offerings like Azure OpenAI, Azure ML. And today, Microsoft Fabric joins this rich and comprehensive set of offerings as well. Now, our promise was to make a platform that's open at every level, extensible at every level, and I hope that through this session, you'll hear more about how we're delivering on this promise of open and extensible with Microsoft Fabric. Now, you've all heard this morning when Satya shared, as well as Arun and Amir shared earlier as well, we're extremely excited to announce that Microsoft Fabric is now generally available. Fabric is going to reshape how your teams work with data, bringing everyone together in a single platform, unified, SaaSified platform and product. Now, Fabric brings in 7 workloads, native workloads to Fabric. Each of these is purpose-built: Power BI, data warehousing, real-time analytics, and much more. And each of these are for a specific persona and for specific tasks. All of these together will simplify your data estate. But we didn't stop with just these workloads. We know that there's more to be done. For a platform to be successful, it needs to be open. And Microsoft Fabric is an open platform. It comes with open formats. All of these workloads natively read and write on Delta Parquet, an open source table format, open interfaces and APIs. All of these workloads come with well-known APIs and interfaces, SQL, KQL, and others, as well as an open platform. And this is the first time we're sharing that the platform itself will be opened up for developers to build applications natively to Fabric, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. So I'm excited to announce that there are 3 integration paths to build with Fabric. Option 1, interop with Fabric OneLake. OneLake is the foundation of Fabric and an open OneDrive for data, if you will. The second option is developing on top of Fabric using its APIs and interfaces. And the third option, which is actually building a native workload, is one that is a completely new approach we're introducing to Azure Data. This will allow you to bring in your experiences as an ISV into Fabric natively. Let's start off and take a look at what these options look like and how you get started. For interoperating with OneLake, it's the easiest path to get started with. There's many different approaches: OneLake APIs, Data Factory, as well as shortcuts, and a newly announced capability, database mirroring. So let's take a look and walk through some of these options that you have. OneLake APIs are read and write APIs that our workloads natively use as well within Fabric. So you can use this to move data in and out of OneLake. Now, we have seamlessly integrated all our services and products using these. As an example, Azure Databricks integrates natively as well. A data engineer can write data using Azure Databricks into ADLS Gen 2, and then read it and create a dashboard on it in Power BI using Direct Lake mode through shortcuts. So OneLake APIs is the easiest way to begin. Azure Data Factory is something you might have heard of. It's widely used across the board. Fabric Data Factory brings in data pipelines and data flows into Fabric, natively integrated into Fabric. And data flows integrate with Power Query that comes with 200 connectors. So you can bring in data from 200 data sources into OneLake, seamlessly integrated, so that any of the engines can then be used to access this data. When you write data in Delta Parquet, it comes with a lakehouse. And the lakehouse, by default, comes with a SQL endpoint on top that you could use as well. Now, your data may not be in Azure. It might be in other places, perhaps. And that's where shortcuts come in. Shortcuts is a way to virtualize your data estate and leverage data that might be sitting in another cloud, in another account, different line of business, perhaps a different domain. All of this can be done without creating a copy of the data or duplicating the data. And these shortcuts essentially allow you to have your data, all of your data estate in OneLake, even if it's virtually. So we are announcing with the general availability of shortcuts with OneLake, you can bring in shortcuts with Azure ADLS, with S3, and GCS is coming soon. And then finally, last but not the least, database mirroring. It's a new capability that we announced just today. And it's a frictionless way to move data that might be sitting outside in a database, a data warehouse, into OneLake. It creates a snapshot of the data in OneLake and is kept updated in real time, near real time. And so you have the power now to use it downstream, in a notebook perhaps, in a dashboard perhaps, or in a data pipeline. Today we announced that customers can try this out with Azure SQL, Cosmos DB, Snowflake, as well as MongoDB. And there's more sources that are coming in 2024. So stay tuned. So those are the different ways that you can interop with OneLake. And you already have 100 connectors, and we have hundreds of partners that are part of this experience and integration. But today I want to highlight a few that you see here who have been with us on this journey from the early days of Fabric. Thank you so much for your collaboration, and I really look forward to taking out these experiences to our customers and the technologists here. Moving on to option 2, developing apps on top of Fabric. Now, as an enterprise developer at an ISV, you may want to do much more than just interop. You may want to build applications natively on top of Fabric. This is where our APIs come in. Each of the workloads that are part of Fabric come with a range of APIs. As an example, if you're building a multi-tenant application on top of Fabric, you could use the data warehouse experience and SQL. You could use real-time analytics with Kusto as well as KQL. And this is a very, very great experience, especially for data-rich, analytic-rich apps. And you can still maintain your brand and your experience for the end user. So Fabric is completely hidden from your end users. And this might be one of the paths that you take. Now, we have over 25,000 organizations already using Fabric today, many of them building applications with Fabric. But the one I'd like to highlight here is Epic. You might have heard of Epic. You certainly might have your digital medical records in it. Epic builds software to help people get well and stay well. And there's millions of digital medical records that are stored within Epic. And I'm very excited to announce that through our joint collaboration, we have been working together to bring in Fabric as a part of their Cogito Analytics platform. Analytics and AI are critical for organizational efficiencies that they need, and we're very excited to share this out. With this updated architecture for Cogito, it'll provide streamlined data management and an enhanced AI capabilities across Epic's suite of applications. Moving on, the last option that we have here, and the one that we're all very excited about, and we'll hear from our design partners shortly, building a Fabric workload natively within. Now, we've built out these 7 workloads, as I talked about, each of them best in class and providing purpose-built experiences. But the platform that we've built underneath is really what makes this a SaaS product. It has unified governance, unified user experience, unified CI/CD, pipelines, all of this built on top of one lake, as we've been talking about. And so you can start thinking of this platform as an operating system. We started off with 7 workloads, Microsoft workloads that run on top. But that's not where we want to stop. We want to add many, many more. And developers now can build their own native workloads within Fabric as apps on top of this operating system. Now, we've been working with a set of design partners for a long time to try out this experience and, and bring these out. And I'm very excited to share here that Aviva, Esri, Informatica, the London Stock Exchange Group, SAS, and Teradata are all building these rich experiences, and you'll hear more about. Thank you so much for your collaboration. Looking forward to taking this out to the technologists. Now, enough of listening to me here. I have 5 guest speakers. Let's get the conversations going with our design partners. The first one that I want to highlight here is the London Stock Exchange Group. We have been collaborating quite a bit, working closely in bringing in these experiences. And they have a lot of high-value, rich data, as well as data transformation capabilities that we are bringing in natively into Fabric. But we have a video that actually showcases all of this. Let's roll the video.
As a market data manager at Contoso Asset Management, Morgan manages hundreds of LSEG's data and content sources using a single intuitive workload in Microsoft Fabric, all powered by LSEG comprehensive data analytics and data management expertise. Morgan can quickly and easily manage all data sets, entitlements, connections, and data consumption across her firm. This morning, colleagues asked her to provide all relevant data to help them evaluate top companies in the energy sector. Not knowing which data sets might be the most useful, she enters a prompt into Copilot. I want to evaluate top companies in the energy sector with a combination of company fundamentals and ESG scores. What data set should I use? She quickly gets recommendations from LSEG's extensive data catalog. To learn more about the ESG data, with a single selection, she easily gets an overview of all the LSEG ESG data, including coverage, available delivery formats, frequency of data updates, entitlements, and distribution rates. To test the content sets with flexible query options, she loads a sample of that data set in her instance of Microsoft Fabric. Here, she can integrate data anywhere she wants, like this Power BI example. Now, Morgan decides to test the latest data structure in her Python notebook. She uses Copilot to further understand the structure and relevance of the dataset, which helps her write the code for her to run the necessary data management and controls. Impressed with the dataset, she makes it available across her applications built on Microsoft Fabric, powered by LSEG's comprehensive financial markets intelligence. With a simple workflow, it's also available for her to share with her colleagues, easily managing the entitlements and access through a single interface.
All right. Please join me in welcoming Dmitry Sedov, Group Head of Data Intelligence at LSEG.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dmitry.
Thank you, Dipti.
That was
music
fantastic.
always gets me. In the end, it always gets me.
I mean, you don't really know where the LSEG experience ends and the Fabric experience begins.
Indeed.
But that's really the amazing experience. Tell us a little bit more about how this is creating value for your customers.
Absolutely, Dipti. I would say that in one sentence, your team, our team are working together to build a better data experience for financial professionals. And we're doing this at scale. Through our 10-year strategic partnership, we at LSEG are seamlessly integrating what is probably the world's most comprehensive financial data and analytics with Microsoft's global cloud platform.
Great, and I know that we've been working on this joint roadmap for quite some time. I'm excited to actually share it out for the first time to the community. Share a little bit about the roadmap and what we're building together.
Absolutely. I will give you and this audience a few highlights. First and foremost, we are looking to substantially and materially improve how our customers are discovering and experiencing data. That's number one. Number two, and to the point that you made a little bit earlier, we are looking to build AI-powered apps that can actually simplify and enhance our customers' own data management experience and analysis of the data. Number three, we are expanding on LSEG's flagship workspace to really simplify the workflows within our industry and build a better, more secure, more open ecosystem for financial professionals and the community around that. And finally, we're certainly harnessing the power of AI, and we're doing it in a responsible way to ensure data trust, data relevance, and certainly the ability to track intellectual property and protect it.
That's right, an extremely comprehensive and visionary roadmap. There's a ton of rich, high-value data, benchmarks, composites, all of that you bring in to your customers, which will all be in Fabric. Tell us a little bit about the scale that we're talking about. Share some of the numbers.
Yeah, I brought the cheat sheet just for that, so I make sure I get all the numbers right. Well, just to give this audience an example and a sense of scale, today, LSEG data covers 99% of the world's market cap. We offer 8 million price updates per second. We track over 13 million private companies and over 250 million of company events. We relay over 200 billion market messages per day, and we operate in 65 languages and across 190 countries. So quite a scale within our industry. And now we're making this market data, as well as our financial markets expertise, natively available on Fabric.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers, Dmitry. The final question here that I have for you is, why Fabric? What is it that made you believe in Fabric as a platform? Share a little bit more around your decision there.
Absolutely. We chose Fabric as the cornerstone of our data platform for three main reasons. One, Dipti, you alluded to that before. We really appreciate the notion of the open ecosystem that Fabric is creating, because that makes interoperability across the different cloud providers so much simpler and easier for our clients and much more efficient. So that's probably one of the key reasons. The second reason is Fabric is Gen AI native. And with that comes significantly greater power to innovate on data, to improve data discovery, to add very interesting analytics that our clients would appreciate. Now, you and I know that it always goes back to data. Your co-pilots, your models are only as good as your data. And that's where LSEG certainly has the opportunity to shine. And number three, which is also extremely important, governance. Fabric is integrated with Microsoft Purview, another application. And that application, together with Fabric, enable LSEG's data trust. That's a capability that is essential for us as the financial markets data provider that gives our customers the peace of mind and ability to ensure there is tracking of the provenance and lineage of the data, their proper digital rights management controls, and that certainly comes natively within Fabric, and we love that. So in the nutshell, better data discovery, certainly improved data management capabilities, and digital rights tracking. Altogether, I'm very excited that LSEG and Microsoft are bringing this together to the financial services industry.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dimitri. Really appreciate you being here today, and looking forward to the ongoing collaboration as well.
Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you. Moving on from financial services to advanced analytics. One of the hardest analytical problems that we've been solving for a while is geospatial analysis. And Esri is the market leader in this space. We have been working together with Esri and collaborating on bringing in these joint experiences with data in OneLake and Fabric, as well as the geospatial engine and Fabric. And we have a video, a demo to show, where you'll see a data engineer that's looking at building a predictive analysis around geospatial with data in OneLake. Let's roll the video.
Esri and Microsoft have partnered to bring spatial analytics into Fabric. Let's take a look at how we can generate data insights by exploring the predicted impact of natural disasters on insured properties. In Fabric's data science environment, we can ingest a dataset from our lakehouse with about 2.5 million data points for insured real estate properties. This data includes latitude and longitude. By creating a point geometry, we can visualize the data against Esri-provided base maps for context. But sometimes there's too much data to see a clear pattern. Let's transform the data to uncover patterns of interest. For instance, summarizing the total number of policies by hexagonal bins, or counting the total insured value in millions of dollars. But we could also interactively explore using Esri's Map Viewer, where we can change the style, the level of aggregation, and perform a number of different analyses. Beyond just visualizing distributions, we can ask more complex analysis questions, like how risky are each of these insurance policies? We can bring in a dataset from Esri's ArcGIS Living Atlas of the World with data for FEMA's National Risk Index, where each census tract has a risk rating. Using a spatial join, we can combine this with our insured properties so that each policy is enriched with a risk rating. Our policy records are now a lot smarter and can be written back to our lakehouse to be used across our organization for additional analysis and modeling. We can also visualize the summarized results in Power BI. For instance, filtering to the locations with the highest risk policies, we can quickly explore areas where an insurance company may be carrying too much risk relative to other areas in their portfolio. We may also want to understand impact of natural hazards or current events. Let's bring in a dataset with the probability of hurricane force winds over a 5-day period. This can be explored visually, but to use the information effectively, we need the hurricane force wind data to be spatially tied to our insured properties. A spatial join lets us link the insured properties and wind speed probabilities. For each property, we now know the likelihood of hurricane force winds. The enriched data could be used for interactive exploration in Power BI to identify the total insured value by probability of hurricane force winds. This is just a small sample of what is possible with spatial analytics in Fabric. We just looked at a set of insured data that we could enrich spatially to answer a number of critical questions about potential impacts based on upcoming natural disasters. But there's so much more that you can do. We're looking forward to hearing how we can help you maximize the potential of your data with spatial insights.
Please join me in welcoming on stage Jack Dangermond, President Esri.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us here today, Jack.
It's my great pleasure.
Absolutely. You have been solving some really hard problems for a very long time.
Oh,
and
yes.
we are excited to continue the collaboration with you now with Fabric, bringing in these native geospatial experiences to data engineers, data scientists, to solve them much faster with open data. Tell us a little bit more about the value that this is creating for your customers and how this fits in with your current ArcGIS offerings.
Well, actually, let's give some context. Some of you know my company, most of you don't. We have been building tools that help users do geographic information systems and make maps. Our users basically make the maps that run the world. Okay, that's a bit of an overstatement. But for 35 years, we've leveraged all of the good work that Microsoft has done, as many of you here in the audience have done, leveraging the platforms, leveraging the tools, and it really has made our millions of customers quite successful. But today, I'm really quite excited, actually. Can you tell? I'm a little excited because today really represents a new chapter in our relationship, because some of those very interesting spatial analysis tools are going right into Fabric itself. This will spatially enable business data, as the little video showed, and it's just interesting because you can see these patterns and relationships, but more important, inside of our SaaS platform, which has millions of users and tens of millions of data sets, that information can come in and enrich the business data by overlaying the business data on top of all these environmental data sets. And that's going to change, it's going to actually transform data analytics with spatial data analytics and the data that goes with it. So to me, that means for our users, their content, these billions of dollars that they've spent on building these layers of data about the planet, suddenly get integrated in with the rest of the enterprise computing platform. It means knowledge workers and spatial data, well, data scientists get to be spatial data scientists. And that's going to create whole new understanding that precedes people doing activities. So yeah, it'll help our users because they'll be able to use this rich, open data environment all brought together, as we heard this morning, but it'll also empower the rest of the organization and connect these two different workflows. And listen, many of you work in complex organizations. I've watched this happen over the years. This is the unification of two very different communities. That's why I'm so very excited about it.
That's amazing. You know, with the collaboration so far, our customers will jointly be able to use Power BI, notebooks, all of this, using these mapping capabilities,
yeah.
the ArcGIS capability, the engine itself. Tell us a little bit more about where we're headed. You know, what are you thinking of bringing in?
You're exactly right. The big power comes with spatial analytics right inside of Fabric itself. And that means all of those applications across the top suddenly get spatially enabled. That's a very powerful capability in and of itself. But by putting together our SaaS platform with this SaaS platform, what it means is there's integration of the data. And I can't actually even imagine whether it's Epic in health or whether it's insurance companies, as the video showed, or whether it's banking or whether it's government agencies suddenly having this integration occur. It's going to literally transform the way people see, think, and act. So let me just clarify that for one more minute, if I could. Geography, the science of our world, or you'll know it through maps or location or the word where, it's actually a unification or an integration science. It allows us to bring all the information from different disciplines together. The engineering data, business data, environmental data, social data. We can overlay this in this environment. And that means you can approach problem solving holistically. And by the way, that's exactly what, at this particular moment in the history of the world, we need to do. We need to see problems differently, contextually. Spatial brings context to the content, to use a phrase. And look, this is a technology moment, and like I say, I'm quite excited. But the technology moment also means something else. It means a change in method. It means a change in approach. I like to call it the geographic approach. The geographic approach to thinking about problems, to solving problems. And so I'm excited about this because, as Satya talked about this morning, Microsoft wants to create a sustainable organization, as do almost every company, every government agency. And look, we're all going to have to be part of that transformation that occurs.
Yeah.
So this is a change in method that's enabled, empowered by Fabric. It's empowered by the powerful tools that are represented here. And look,
you know, we're building out these platforms and tools, but at the end of the day, it's the technologists who really need to create with it to solve these hard problems that sometimes take months to solve in days or hours.
Look, let me just throw it out here. You in this audience and the people listening online, you and your work and how you do that work, bringing the data together, solving problems, I mean, these problems are not going to be handled by politicians. They're going to be handled by people that are data craftsmen and engineers that actually come up with the solutions that shut down the issues that we're confronted today. So this is exciting.
Thank you
so
much,
much for
Thank you for the collaboration. Looking forward to what we can bring in together.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we continue the conversations and hear more from our design partners. Please join me in welcoming Dan Sperling, SVP Engineering, Teradata, Jared Peterson, SVP Engineering, SAS, and Rick Tam-Daniels, GVP at Informatica. Thank you so much for joining me today, folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dipti.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard about, we talked about these amazing, they're fantastic. We're absolutely not feeling awkward here. Sometimes short is an advantage, sometimes not. However, we are here to talk about the value that we're creating from these joint experiences. And you know, we have had amazing collaborations with each of your teams, and thank you very much for that. Let's hear a little bit about you know, the work that we're doing and the scenarios, the key scenarios that we're bringing together to our customers. And maybe, Dan, you can get us started off.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, and it has been great to work with the Microsoft team as we launch Teradata's AI Unlimited platform via Fabric. Many people know Teradata. Teradata has been around for decades. We help some of the largest companies in the world across the largest industry verticals solve major business problems and run their business on top of Teradata, on top of Azure. This is a solution that we have built, but the challenge is oftentimes these really large, really critical business systems make it difficult for people to just want to play and innovate and experiment because they're critical, so they're kind of held back. With Fabric, we are able to give these end users, these data scientists, data analysts, even just data explorers, the ability to play inside of Fabric and run against a really massive AI engine and be able to experiment and then move those ideas into production without impacting that production enterprise system, that production data platform. So we're excited about being able to unlock that for our users.
Yeah. Jared, maybe you can share a little bit more about our collaboration with SAS as well and how you see this benefiting your end users.
Yeah, sure. Happy to, Dipti. Yeah, so at SAS, we are bringing SAS Decision Builder into the Fabric ecosystem. And what that's going to enable Fabric users to do is to take a lot of complex things like business rules, machine learning models, Python code, and conditional logic, and bring those into a decisioning flow, all using a no-code, low-code interface. And what we think this will do is help those users kind of take assets from across Fabric and begin to realize like what you might call the last mile value of kind of enterprise decisions. Now, at SAS, we've been recognized by Forrester and others as having an industry-leading decisioning platform. And so we're really excited to kind of bring that into the Fabric ecosystem for Fabric users. And this is just our first kind of foray into Fabric, and assuming that the channel is successful, and we have every reason to believe that it will be, we will continue looking for opportunities to bring the power of SAS into kind of differentiating experiences in Fabric.
Great, thanks so much, Jared. And Rick, last but certainly not the least, we've done a ton with you and your teams. Tell us a little bit more about how these experiences are really showing up and creating insights and value for your customers.
Well, first of all, Dipti, thanks for having me. We really appreciate the partnership. Actually, I think Satya said something really important this morning in the keynote. He said that AI requires data, and without data, there's no AI. And we could not agree more, right? And I think one of the biggest challenges we see customers encounter when it comes to leveraging their data assets for AI use cases is a lack of trusted data. And a lot of that stems from just poor quality data, right? So we find that, we did a CDO Insight survey early this year, that 44% of CDOs cited data quality as a key indicator for the success of their data initiatives. So we at Informatica were extremely proud to be part of this program and bring our industry-leading data quality capabilities to Microsoft Fabric as a Microsoft Fabric native application. So Fabric users will be able to identify quality issues using hundreds of out-of-the-box data quality rules as well as custom rules, and not only identify those issues, but also remediate and fix them to ensure that every Fabric data consumer has access to clean, consistent, high-quality data. But that's not all. Right. So the other big piece here, Informatica, we've been using AI for a long time to accelerate the business data management, and that's true for data quality as well. So our CLAIRE AI engine provides users with automatic data quality rule recommendations, automatic data quality insights, even the ability to author rules using natural language. Now, the other big piece we're doing with Fabric, I do want to mention, is that we are offering customers full, complete interoperability from 300 different enterprise data sources to bring data into Fabric. And we're doing that through OneLake and through Lakehouse, through Delta Parquet, as well as Data Warehouse through the SQL endpoint for batch, real-time, and change data capture use cases. So really a truly holistic partnership around Fabric.
Thanks so much, all of you. I mean, we're building an open platform and bringing in all of these amazing experiences. It could be data profiling, data quality, analytics, models, AI, going beyond SQL, bringing in a lot more capabilities, because together it creates a lot more capabilities for our end users. Let's talk a little bit more about the transformative value to your organizations and your teams a little bit more. You know, as ISVs, developers at ISVs out there, you know, why should they think about this? Why interop with OneLake? Why develop on Fabric? You know, why build a workload on top of Fabric? Share a little bit more, and maybe perhaps Rick, this time we start off with you.
Yeah, happy to. So I think we think about transformative value. We think in terms of the customer value and customer transformative outcomes from that perspective, and you know, I think we got to take a kind of a zoom out a little bit. So we talked about data quality, and that's just one aspect of the data lifecycle or data supply chain. And so we at Informatica we're really focused on, together with Microsoft, bringing, you know, a cloud-native, end-to-end, enterprise-grade data management platform that supports not just data quality, but data discovery, ingestion, cleansing of data, securing of data, governing of data, mastering of data. You know, all those kind of elements are required to really be successful with your critical data elements. And I think at the net of it, though, is we are focused, the real value for customers is making sure we can get the right data to the right user with trust and confidence as quickly as possible, right? And so that's really the focus for us. And I think the value of Informatica and Microsoft together is we're bringing all these capabilities together into what we call the Intelligent Data Management Cloud. It creates a really multiplicative value in terms of time to value and time to market. The one other element of our partnership is that Informatica is also an Azure native ISV service, so that allows us to have kind of the deepest integration possible, which is a tremendous benefit for customers. And I'd say the last point to getting to transformative outcomes is taking that core of data management and layering on industry use cases and vertical specific capabilities that really deliver those truly high value use cases that drive true transformative outcomes from a customer perspective. And I just want to share a couple examples of that. Rolls-Royce is a great example, right, of really transformative value. They put in a whole new data management platform together with Microsoft and Informatica, and they've realized more than 100 million pounds of business value because they're able to truly deliver trusted data to all their business users. And they're doing it on a basis of data quality. Data quality creates the transparency and trust to enable that kind of transformative outcome. And I think the last one I mentioned is this Volvo real quickly. Volvo, as a customer, is modernizing their on-premise data estate to Microsoft, into Azure, and Informatica in the cloud. And they're actually moving from Netezza into Microsoft Fabric through some of our joint migration programs. But they're also building a foundation for a true data mesh architecture, leveraging quality, governance, master data management to, again, create that trusted data foundation that becomes the basis to actually use data to drive business outcomes.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of digital transformation to be done. I mean, even though that's an overused term now, but hopefully all of this actually speeds it up significantly, makes it much easier to get to. Jared, share a little bit more about how you're thinking about this and the value that you see SaaS coming to SaaS.
Yeah, happy to. I think actually some of the things we're thinking about are just kind of a natural segue from a lot of things that Rick was talking about. I mean, we've talked a lot about data, and when you think about the full kind of analytics lifecycle, you kind of move from data into modeling into this notion of kind of deployment or kind of making decisions with those models and kind of getting value from them. And we really think at SaaS that one of the things that we're really, really good at is helping our customers get models into production. And so when we were kind of starting to kind of brainstorm some of these things and integrating with Fabric and talking to our friends and partners at Microsoft, we really wanted to think about what were ways that we could kind of complement what you guys were already doing kind of in other parts of Fabric. And when you think about analytics and AI models, the majority of them actually never make it into production. They're just science experiments or proof of concepts or fancy demos. And so we really wanted to help users kind of get actual kind of consistent, accurate decisions at scale inside of Fabric. And SaaS, we think of ourselves as an analytics and AI company. And analytics and AI, we've talked about it, go where the data goes. And so, I mean, Fabric, when you think about the scale of it, it's a data estate that we've got to be aware of. When you think about underlying technologies like OneLake, the things that you guys have talked a lot about here at Ignite, we've got to be there and kind of play in that space. And for us as a company, we just think about the enormous opportunity that Fabric represents. I mean, you think about the scale of kind of Power BI users and now Fabric, and we've heard of kind of the stats at this conference about the scale of it, and so that's a pool that we absolutely want to play in.
Thank you so much, Jared. Great to see there's a ton of value that's coming through, and looking forward to the collaborations. Dan, tell us more. How are you? I'm sure a lot of this applies to you as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is great to be on stage. Like, obviously, from a Teradata perspective, we have embraced and been very open and connected with the major players in the ecosystem. Yeah. We have had a long relationship with all three of the companies up on this stage, and we've done some amazing things together with our customers. I'm really going to build off what Jared just said, and I'm just going to quickly, because there's no point repeating all of it. I'm just going to quickly say, the ability for us to unlock users via Fabric in a much more rapid way. We all have been building tight integrations with Azure services. But these integrations have been like an integration with ADF or an integration. And instead, we're able to say we are enabling a user to come into Fabric, come in and explore the data that's in OneLake, come in and use the tools that we can offer in a seamless and connected kind of way. We're so excited about being able to unlock. And it doesn't matter if you're unlocking like business opportunities, if you're building your trusted platform, or if you're leveraging a super high performance AI engine underneath the covers. Like, us together being able to deliver this value to our customers, Fabric is going to be a game changer.
That's right, and I think you have a video that actually
shows
a lot about what you just talked about. Yes. So let's roll the video. Thank you so much, folks, for joining.
Appreciate it.
Introducing Teradata AI Unlimited, a serverless AI engine via Microsoft Fabric. You now have unlimited flexibility and scale to explore, experiment, and operationalize new AI use cases. In one scenario, a data scientist at a telecom company wanted to analyze customer data to determine where to place new microstations for enhanced 5G coverage. She starts by quickly spinning up AI Unlimited via Fabric. She explores data in OneLake and analyzes it using SQL and machine learning functions within AI Unlimited. To help find the right queries, functions, or even data sets to use, she can simply ask for help from Microsoft Copilot within Fabric. The results are easily visualized in real time in Power BI. With Teradata AI Unlimited via Microsoft Fabric, businesses gain the flexibility and scale to go beyond SQL and extract more value from their data.
So as you've seen, you've heard from all of our guests today, all of these workloads and experiences just bring much more capabilities to you, the technologists, to all our joint customers, seamless integration, seamless interop, to build a much stronger ecosystem. Thank you again to all our partners and our ISVs that we've been working on in this journey. We are just getting started. We're just getting started, and would love for you to join in this journey with Microsoft Fabric. Thank you, everyone.